We're at the 5th anniversary of the People's Partnership here in Macoya. We got an opportunity to hear from the leader of the partnership, say what she had to say about the last 5 years as well as the future of the party. There's a lot of people here and a lot of excitement. We got an opportunity to speak with some people, some key people in the partnership to hear what they had to say. Racolia here for Loop TC.
You came together at one of the darkest points in our nation's history, when for decades our money was squandered. Our women, our children, our elderly, the poor, the most vulnerable, they were being abandoned and neglected by the state at a time when there was so much wealth. It was a time when crime made us send our children away from their natural birthright, to lock ourselves in homes like prisoners, when unemployment and neglect made our children lost and doomed. It was a time when our democracy and our constitutionally enshrined freedoms were being threatened by a dictatorial government. And you are the people. You came together. You threw off the shackles of fear, of discord and distrust of our differences. And you renewed your faith in Trinidad and Tobago by summoning the great spirit of unity, nationalism, humanity, justice and love, which had simmered in our hearts and minds and souls for decades before. You, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, you became an invincible force of all that is great, and you destroyed the failed policies which tore us apart as a people and a nation, the failed ideas and lies which for decades left us lost and disenchanted. And when you came forward at that time, like Isaiah, then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send? Whom shall I send?" And then I said, "Oh Lord, here I am, send me! Oh Lord, here I am, send me!" And that is how, together, in 2010, we came hand in hand as a partnership with you. You resoundingly voted for a government based on a partnership of interests from every field of human and humanitarian interest in our country, committed to serving you. We must never forget that fateful day 5 years ago, because you know, those who forget the past are doomed to live that past again. We must never ever forget.
So how do you feel today being the 5th anniversary? How do you feel 5 years later as a party?
Well, I think we've accomplished a lot in 5 years, probably. It's a very cliched and hackneyed saying that this is the best government this country's ever seen. Every government says that, but I think genuinely when you look at the number of people who've turned up here, and I think they've estimated it to over 25,000 people here today, you would see that the crowd spilled over. It's an indication that people genuinely feel that the work of the government has filtered through and down to them. And that's what politics is all about, ensuring that you improve the quality of people's lives.
So what can you say to the next 5, 10, 15 years, how along as a party, as the People's Partnership?
I think what has happened across the country is you've seen development like never before. You're not seeing concentrated development in any one part of the country. You're seeing it throughout the country, from Chagaramas to Mayaro, Maracas, and Prime Minister's talking about it now, all the way down south. Many rural areas now today are seeing development that they would have never seen before. Every single child now has access to a laptop. So of course we have to provide ICT backbones for them wherever they live, whether it's Toko, Manzanin, or wherever it is. And that's opening up huge parts of the country. The Point Fortin Highway, of course, the much maligned Point Fortin Highway that was promised to have been built since 1965 by the then government, is now opening up new economic opportunities and avenues for the people of this country. New schools, we built over 100 or close to 100 schools in the last 5 years. When we came into office, and in fact many of those schools have been built in rural areas, so children don't have to travel 15, 20 miles to go to school. When we came into office, only 18% of the population had water 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Today it's over 70% of the population. So there are many, many areas in the country in terms of infrastructure which are positively affecting the quality of people's lives. So we're very, very happy. We're obviously seeking to get another term, another 5 years, to be able to continue that work. I think what the country needs is continuity of the programs we've started and the progress we've started.
All right, and lastly, anything you'd like to say to your supporters?
Thank you very much for coming out and supporting us. We feel that, as the theme said, this is a renewal of many things. It's a renewal of our commitment to not just our supporters, but to our country. And that is one thing that is important and has been a priority for us as a government. We have not just concentrated on those constituencies that belong to the People's Partnership. We've spread the economic prosperity across the country. We built our policies on two major issues. One is prosperity for all, and the second is economic prosperity for all, and the second is eradication of poverty. And we're attempting to do that across the country. We'll continue to do that. We thank them all for supporting us. We welcome all who wants to come and join the People's Partnership, and we're hopeful that we will have the opportunity over the next 5 years to be able to continue this good work that we've started.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
How do you feel about the last 5 years as a party?
Well, I think that as a party, I think that we have performed tremendously. Because, for instance, when I traversed Trinidad and Tobago, I asked myself what the last administration was doing. Because throughout the country, you see work. I mean, there's not only the quantitative side of the work, but the qualitative side, people feeling satisfied. I mean, I think it's really fantastic. Even in my own constituency, I could say I have seen some changes, plenty changes, So I think we have done well.
And how do you feel about the future of the party going forward?
I think under the astute leadership of our esteemed Prime Minister, she has the ability to keep the party and the players together. I think we have a good future. I think so.
Anything you'd like to say to the public on today's Singers House 5th anniversary?
Well, for instance, I would want to thank my constituents for the support they have given to me over the last 5 years. I know there's some area of disappointment, we could have done more, but because of the kind of neglect we would have had over the years, to clean it up and to improve totally, it was indeed a challenge, and we are getting there. Give us another 5, and Maruga Tableland would be a paradise.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.